Pause for a second. Don't scroll yet. If someone's face just crossed your mind, there's a reason for that. There's a strange kind of pain that doesn't come from someone leaving. It comes from someone who hurts you and then stays. They don't disappear. They don't let go. They remain just close enough to remind you of everything that went wrong and everything that was never repaired. They say the words that hurt you most. They cross the lines they promised they wouldn't cross. And when you finally start pulling back, they show up again, checking in, hovering, making sure you still feel them there. And that's what confuses you. Because if they can hurt you like that, why don't they just leave? Most people think pain pushes others away. But some people stay because of the pain. Because walking away would force them to face something they're not ready to admit. If you've ever felt stuck between missing someone and needing distance, if you've ever questioned whether their presence means they care, or whether it's just keeping you trapped, this isn't about overthinking. It's about understanding what's really happening beneath the surface. There's a reason they linger, a reason they can't fully let go. And once you see it clearly, everything about the situation starts to make sense. Stay with me. Have you ever wondered why some people hurt you, yet never truly leave your life? They disappoint you. They say things that break something inside you. They cross boundaries they promised they wouldn't. And still, they stay. They send messages. They show up unexpectedly. They linger around your world as if they're afraid of losing their place in it. It's confusing, isn't it? Pain is supposed to push people away. So why do they remain? There's a quiet truth most people don't talk about. When someone stays after causing pain, it's rarely by accident. If they didn't care at all, they wouldn't stay close enough to notice the silence. They wouldn't feel the emotional distance growing. They wouldn't hover where they're no longer welcome. When someone hurts you and stays, it often means their heart is tangled in guilt, fear, and deep attachment. They're not staying because it's easy. They're staying because you still matter to them, even if they don't know how to love you without hurting you. And once you understand what's really happening inside them, their behavior begins to make sense. More importantly, you stop blaming yourself for the way you feel. Let's understand this together. Guilt. The invisible reason they hold on. One of the strongest reasons people stay after hurting you is guilt. Not the kind of guilt that leads to change, but the kind that seeks relief without responsibility. Psychology shows that guilt creates mental discomfort, and the brain looks for the fastest way to escape it. For some people, staying connected becomes that escape. By remaining in your life, they tell themselves a comforting story. If I were truly that bad, I wouldn't still be here. Their presence becomes proof, not of growth, but of self-justification. This is why their apologies may feel shallow or repetitive. They say just enough to ease their conscience, but not enough to truly repair the damage. They stay close, hoping time will blur the hurt so they don't have to face it directly. Their guilt softens while your pain quietly lingers. What makes this especially confusing is that guilt-based attachment can look like care. They check in. They worry when you pull away. They seem afraid of losing you. But this closeness isn't about your healing. It's about their relief. Instead of choosing accountability, they choose proximity, and that keeps both of you emotionally stuck. Emotional dependence, when they need you more than they protect you. Another reason someone stays after hurting you is emotional dependence. Emotionally dependent people attach not because they love well, but because they fear being without emotional support. You become their stabilizer. Your presence calms them. Your voice grounds them. Your forgiveness reassures them that they're still acceptable. Losing you feels terrifying, even if keeping you means continuing harmful behavior. This is why they may hurt you, then panic when you distance yourself. Why they seem distant one moment and affectionate the next. Your absence threatens their emotional balance, not because they fully understand your pain, but because they rely on you to feel regulated. Over time, your role shifts. You stop being an equal and become the one expected to endure, forgive, and stay calm while hurt. Your pain becomes something you're expected to manage alone. Their need outweighs their awareness. Comfort matters more to them than growth. Fear of loss, when you didn't leave like they expected. Sometimes people hurt others, assuming distance will follow. When it doesn't, something unsettling happens. Psychology calls this attachment anxiety, triggered by unexpected emotional persistence. They thought you would leave. They expected consequences. When you stayed, even emotionally, uncertainty took over. Now they're afraid the bond still exists and that they could lose it at any moment. This fear keeps them close, but not healthier. They become inconsistent, warm one day, distant the next. They hover near enough to feel reassured, but not close enough to risk vulnerability. Fear of loss leads to guarding, not accountability. It can feel like care, but it's rooted in anxiety, not emotional maturity. Control through presence. When staying keeps emotional power alive. In some cases, staying is about emotional influence. As long as they're present, they remain relevant in your emotional world, and relevance feels safer than being forgotten. Distance brings clarity. Presence creates ambiguity. By staying, they soften the impact of what happened. They blur the pain. They interrupt your healing. Not always intentionally, but effectively. Casual check-ins and reminders of shared history keep emotional threads connected. Part of you heals, part of you stays engaged. They don't always realize it, but emotionally, they don't want you healed without them. Not because they want to hurt you, but because being irrelevant feels like erasure. Emotional immaturity, care without the ability to change. Sometimes the hardest truth is the simplest one. They stay because they care, but lack the emotional maturity to love without causing harm. Attachment and emotional capacity are not the same. Someone can feel deeply and still lack the skills to repair, take accountability, or sit with discomfort. Without those skills, patterns repeat. The relationship becomes a loop instead of a progression. This is where hope becomes dangerous. Caring alone doesn't protect you. Intentions don't undo impact. Love without maturity can wound just as deeply as indifference. If someone hurts you but stays, it means something, but not always what you hope. Staying doesn't equal safety. Presence doesn't equal growth. And caring doesn't automatically equal change. Understanding this isn't about blaming them. It's about protecting yourself. If this helped you see your situation more clearly, like this video for emotional awareness. Comment clarity over confusion and subscribe, because the next video explores why some people only realize your value after they've caused damage. Your feelings are valid, and you deserve consistency, not confusion. Before you scroll away, take a moment to sit with what just came up for you. If certain memories surfaced, if a name crossed your mind, if your chest feels a little heavier right now, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're not confused because you lack clarity. You're confused because you've been living inside inconsistency. Understanding why someone stays after hurting you doesn't mean you have to keep making space for the pain. Awareness isn't an invitation to endure more. It's a permission slip to protect yourself. You're allowed to want safety, honesty, and emotional steadiness. Not apologies that repeat. Not closeness that never repairs. You don't need to wait for someone else to become emotionally ready in order to choose peace. You don't need one more explanation, one more sign, one more moment of hope to justify stepping back. Sometimes the clearest answer isn't what they say, It's what keeps happening. Let this be the moment you stop questioning your instincts. Let this be the moment you trust what your nervous system has been trying to tell you all along. Love should feel grounding, not disorienting. Care should feel consistent, not conditional. If this message brought clarity to something you've been carrying, honor that clarity. Like this video for your emotional awareness. Comment clarity over confusion if you're choosing honesty with yourself. And stay connected, because the next conversation is about why some people only recognize your value after they've caused damage. Your feelings are valid, your boundaries are allowed, and you deserve a love that doesn't make you doubt your own worth. If this resonated with something you're living through, don't dismiss it. Awareness is the first step toward emotional freedom. Like this video for clarity, comment clarity over confusion if you're choosing honesty with yourself, and subscribe. Because the next video explores why some people only realize your value after they've already caused damage. You deserve peace, not mixed signals.